Thanks to the support as a channel member, Dan Beaton. Happy New Year, boys and girls. If you're watching this on the day it comes out, it is New Year's Day. Happy New Year. Hope you have a better one than last year. Unless you had a good 2020. I think we probably all hope we have a better one than last year. In other news, I will never admit on camera to being a one-man team. However, Ricky J. Jones is injured and now we've not won for 4 games. Hello and welcome to Club 2, part 13 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games in the league for you. We're away against Birmingham and at home against Stoke. Since you were last with me, as mentioned in the intro, things were going oh so well, and then Ricky J. Jones got injured, and we now don't know how to score goals or win games. 3 consecutive 0-0 draws in the league. You can see we experimented with the 4-3-3 in there. That just killed off any attacking oomph that we had. We went back to the 4-2-3-1 for this game. At least we scored a goal, but we did lose that match, which was our first defeat in the league for quite some time, actually, since mid-January. So the league table looks like this. We're still very much in the playoff mix. I think we're probably out of the automatic promotion hunt at this point. What is that? 9 games remaining, and we're 10 points behind West Brom. It's West Brom, Leeds and Swansea. They're the 3 that are fighting for automatic promotion. We're very much in with a fight, with a battle for the playoffs, though. Although it's not a foregone conclusion, we're 6 points ahead of Brentford, Palace hot on their tail, and the team we play now, Birmingham, are there or thereabouts as well. If we don't start picking up some points again soon, we might find ourselves dropping out of the playoffs, which would be sad, but I think in the context of the season overall, would probably be okay. We were supposed to finish, I think 21st was what the pre-season prediction was. After how the season has gone to this point, we're now predicted a 17th place finish. We're going to finish above that. The board are just looking for us to avoid relegation, which with 68 points we already have comfortably. Simon Patton's probably going to finish top scorer in the league. He's 7 points clear of his nearest challengers. And yeah, we might get a nice little playoff excitement out of it. We might not. I'm not that bothered one way or the other. It's a weird situation to be in. I'd obviously like the playoffs, and if we get them, I'll try and win them. If we don't get the playoffs, we were never supposed to this year. I'm playing without pressure. It's lovely. And this is the team that we're putting out there for this game against Birmingham. We've got Maldon in goal, a back four of Devine, Anderson, Sykes and Jan Couto, Taylor and McCormick in midfield, Palmer, Richards and Jones. Ricky J. Jones is back. Kev, you picked this team yesterday. How is Ricky J. Jones back and why is he on that side? You haven't, you rascal, past Kev. You haven't even picked this team. All you've done is when you get the inbox message for selection advice, you've gone, whatever. And then you've got to match day. You haven't even picked a team. Ricky J. Jones is back. This changes everything. He's only available to play 75 minutes. Is Palmer the best man for us to have on that right-hand side? Yes, he is. Jones goes over to the left where we know he can be dangerous as an inside forward. We need to monitor him, obviously. And Patton's up front. Right, if I haven't actually picked this team, is the rest of it right? The rest of it is right. Yeah, everything else in there is right. Jones is back. Much excitement. Let's see if the return of Ricky J. Jones leads to a return of good fortune and good form. I mean, I guess if you're going to spend £4 million on a player, you want him to come in and be a game-changing best player at the club the way he has. It's just a shame when he then gets injured. Because for a club like Peterborough, spending £4 million and then still being in the Championship stings a little bit. It's not anything we've ever done in real life. I think our record purchase in real life is probably about £1.5 million. But then we don't spend a lot of time in the Championship. And when we are there, we usually get relegated. So I guess it's a little bit different. Sykes has put us ahead from a set piece early on here, 12 minutes on the clock. And the corner's floated over from Palmer. Patton with the flick on. And Sykes is there at the far post lurking. I mean, set piece instructions, anybody? I'd rather, I mean, it's worked there, but logically they should have been the other way round. It should be Sykes there for the flick on and Patton lurking for the tap in. It's worked that time, but I think we need to have a little look at the set piece instructions to work out why they were that way round. Will have a look at that at half time, maybe. There's no point fiddling now. It's worked already today. It might work again. Let's not worry about it for this game. But we will keep an eye on it for the future. This guy, Wolf, on the right-hand side for Birmingham, he's a free transfer who's come in from the MLS. We tried to sign him. We were in negotiations with him. He was a 5-star current ability right wing. I think he's like 20, 21 years old. We were going to pay him enough money to be able to get him a work permit, but we were one of many clubs who were in for him, and Birmingham just offered him more money. Keep an eye on that name, though, because I think he's going to end up being a little bit of a superstar. And if we'd have got him, that would have been our front three then, Patton, Jones and Wolf, and it would have been beautiful. And there is Jones, and it's 9 goals already since his return to the club. Pretty much when he's fit, he's scoring goals, and we're 2-0 up on 25 minutes. And that's a not fully fit Ricky J. Jones. And look at the pace and acceleration here to capitalise on just, it's not even a mistake, it's just some slack goalkeeping off the back of a dodgy header. If the keeper thought he was under any kind of pressure there, he just lumps that clear or pushes it round the post. He's casual because he thinks he's got time, not realising it's one of the fastest players in FM21 who's lurking with an injury, but still lurking. And there for the tap-in, we do need to keep an eye on Jones's fitness levels. In fact, it's saying he's taken a knock, which is not ideal at all, because he's still recovering from his previous injury. If he's now picked up another one, it's all well and good having a couple of goals today and having a lovely time. But if we've now cost him further recovery just to get him back in for today, it might end up costing us long term. Then I guess this was a big, important game. Let's outstretch the arms, but let's get Jones off. Come on, Ricky. You're only going to be playing 75 minutes anyway. You can just play a little less. We'll bring on Gooch. Gooch can just swap over with Palmer, and we'll do that for the second half, and that should be fine. I mean, Gooch probably feeling a little bit hard done by to not be in the team anyway, because he's the only player, until today, he's the only posh player who'd scored in the last 4 games, and it was in our last match, and then immediately he's dropped. This is why we're not scoring goals. I'm punishing the goal scorers. Oh, he scored. Get him out of the team immediately. Right, Jan Couto, looking at options ahead of him. Patton must be offside there. He's so far ahead of his last defender, and it is offside. I mean, he's quick. He's not quite Ricky J. Jones quick, but he's close. He is quick, but there's no way he had 4 yards on that last defender before the camera even caught up with him. He had to have been offside, and he was so offside we didn't even get a replay so that we could assess it. Right, Taylor is going to come off for Lawrence in midfield. Lawrence, now we've got Couto in. Lawrence spending a lot more time playing in central midfield, where I think he looks a lot better in central midfield. He was always solid at right back, but solid with a twist is how I think I'll refer to him. And he was solid for like 95% of the games, but then sometimes he'd just get caught out of position or caught making the wrong decision here or there. And you could tell he was a player playing out of position, whereas in midfield, he looks much more solid. Right, for my final trick, what we will do is take off Casey Palmer, and we are going to bring on Nathan Holland, who hasn't played very much football at all, certainly since Jones arrived. Holland came in just before deadline day back in August to be a solution for this left-hand side, which is a problem we've been looking to solve all season long. Despite Otterbohr being one of our best players last year playing from that left-hand side, a combination of injuries and just not really making the step up to the championship have kind of ruled him out of ever being the answer over there. But Holland is a similar story. He played a couple of games early on, looked quite good, picked up a knock, and ended up in the rotation pile with Palmer and Gooch and Richards and I guess Otterbohr and a number of others who can play out on the left. But quite similar to Lawrence at right back. We had lots of players who could play there, but nobody was really getting a hold of that position and making it theirs the way Jones has since his arrival. And we've picked up a 2-0 win. And that, in the context of the season, is an incredible result, because that keeps Birmingham at bay, probably ends any hopes they might have had to catch us in the remaining 8 games. We're now, I mean, significant. Kev Maths can't cope. 13 points ahead of them, but we maintain a 6-point gap over Brentford. We're not looking up. We're refusing to look up, but we are looking down and thinking, yeah, that's healthier than I thought it would be after that Birmingham game. Luckily, Jones wasn't properly injured, so he's able to start again for today's game, and this time can play an entire game, although still not fully fit. And the only change I've made is Palmer's come across into the middle with Gooch coming back in on the right-hand side. I felt guilty about dropping him when he didn't really deserve to be dropped. It was just, you saw the shenanigans at the start of the video. Quick Pick dropped him, and I didn't fix the team properly. So it's fixed now. Gooch is back, and we're looking for back-to-back wins. Stoke are down in 23rd place. If we can pick up a win here, we're right back in the promotion hunt, boys and girls. Gooch looking to deliver the wrong throw. I mean, it was the wrong throw in the end, because it went to the goalkeeper. I think he was trying to do a long throw before committing to the wrong throw. There's too many R's in all that, and I can't do it properly. Stoke counter-attacking from the throw, though, and the goalkeeper clears it up to the halfway line, and Stoke have actually taken possession of the ball and are keeping things moving. But look at that from Jones, tracking back, getting a tackle in, and now a big ball forward for Patton, who's got absolutely nobody up supporting him, but he's holding on to the ball nicely here, and then we now have a packed penalty area. It falls to Taylor. It's back to Patton again. Taylor, Patton, they've done well to work Patton into a shooting position. The ball is bouncing around like a pinball in there at the moment, but somehow we've come out of it with possession again. It falls to Patton, and he really needs to do a lot better with that. It has fallen on his weak foot. He's a left footer, and it's fallen onto his right, but for a player who's got nearly 30 league goals this season, you would expect him to be testing the goalkeeper from that kind of position. Even the text commentary at the bottom of the screen describing it as him missing a sitter. Gooch now down the right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? In fact, gives it to Jan Couto, who finds Patton. And it's a more difficult opportunity than the previous one. It's still on his right foot. It's a tighter angle. He's got more pressure on him from the defender that he's absolutely made up for his previous miss by tucking it past the goalkeeper at the near post. It's a 29th goal of the season for Simon Patton. It's 1-0 to us, and Patton's back, which is nice, after his iffy spell. And I was thinking about his iffy spell. We actually sent him on holiday for a week or two during the time when we weren't scoring. We had Jones injured and Patton on holiday. And it occurred to me that obviously because Patton came in from the Irish League, they play in the summer, don't they? So he, at this point, has effectively played without a break all the way through from whenever that league starts in what, April? I don't know when the Irish League starts. But he's played over a year without a break at this point. It's no wonder he needed a break. He's had a break and he's come back looking like a different player again. He's in behind there, forces the save from the goalkeeper, and we have a corner. And Patton is looking lively today, which is nice. He hasn't looked this lively for a little while. The holiday has done him the world of good. Corner comes in and Anderson with the header that goes over. Patton again is the one lurking at that near post. Should we have a look at these corner instructions? What have I done here? So corners, attacking instructions. So I guess I've got Patton lurking at the near post. My thinking being, if we aim for Anderson, Patton's there to pick up the pieces, but he seems to be getting in the way almost. I wonder if we maybe move Patton back to just being around the area. Do we need Taylor marking the goalkeeper? I feel like we've got a spare player knocking around here as well. We don't need 3 players back. We can have him on stay back if needed. Having Lyndon Gooch back there makes no sense. So let's put Gooch in there and just have Patton lurking a little bit more. Again, Gooch is already back here. We get Gooch. Oh, we can't move Gooch because it says he's the taker, even though you can see he's not the taker. It's broken. Sometimes these set pieces do get a little bit broken. But let's shuffle it around a little bit like that. I think we've got different instructions on each side there now, but it just seems silly that we're aiming the corners at Patton because Patton is 5'10". He's not very good in the air. He's only got a 6 for heading. And although we're not theoretically aiming for him, he is getting on the end of a lot of them. That time, there you go. That's a little bit more like how I expect them to work. Anderson doesn't quite get there. Sykes is lurking at the far post, but Patton's not getting in the way. And it immediately looked like a more threatening corner. So maybe that's going to be the answer. I am pleased with how things are. In fact, am I pleased? I'm almost tempted to do a no gesture. Don't get complacent. We're only 1-0 up against a team that are down in 23rd place. We should probably be doing a little bit better. I don't think I am pleased. Gooch with the long throw. Bounces in the penalty area, but somehow Stoke still managed to get it clear. It falls to Palmer and now McCormick, who's got Jan Couto on the overlap. But I think the Stoke player did just enough to intercept the pass and wreck the move. And that's a lovely pass for the Stoke player to get through. But Malden, I think, has that covered. In fact, Malden has made the save. It's going to be a corner for Stoke. Malden does well. I'm not happy that we've given them a corner, though. They're getting far too much time on the ball. It's troublesome. Let's try and stop that from happening, please, boys. Palace look like are they lurking? Palace, how are they getting on? They're winning against Cardiff. So we do need to be a little bit wary of what's going on behind us today and not drop points against a team that are probably getting relegated. We've given away a penalty here. It's sloppy from Taylor. And now we need Malden to get us out of jail again. We still have half an hour of the game left if we do mess up here. But, oh, they've hit the post. Oh, it never rains, but it pours. Poor old Stoke. Struggling for goals for goodness knows how long. They get a penalty and can't even hit the target with that. Divine now on the left-hand side. We'll probably need to be thinking in terms of taking Jones off in the relatively near future. Still recovering from injury. He's not been his normal self today, he says, as he picks up the ball. I thought he was going to go on a Neymar-esque run again, but he's not. He's just laid it off. Divine with the cross drills it over, and I think it's Patton who was in there with Gooch. Either way, the Stoke defenders got in there, given away the corner, and now Divine's going to look for an in-swinger. Now Gooch is the one. This lurk at near post isn't working the way it normally does. I don't want them to be the ones who... I might remove the lurk at near post entirely. I want Anderson to be the only player that we can aim at that near post because he's 6'5". Unless I put Sykes at the near post with him, and we maybe really front load things and maybe stick Patton on the far post to pick up scraps. Shall we try that? I've never done this before, but let's get him in there and him there. And then same on this side. Apparently Patton's now taking the corner, which shouldn't be, but there you go. We've now got our two centre-backs, both at the near post. Interested to see how this works out. Right, Palmer's picked up an injury. We can just bring Schmodix on for him. That's easy enough to do. Did I click the right button there? Palmer's still on the pitch, but Jones has come off. Oh, did something else pop? Never use those buttons, boys and girls, because I've now made a change I didn't need to make. Oh, that's frustrating. Now we've got an injured man on the pitch for the last 10 minutes. Poor old Palmer's shattered. Doesn't understand why we're playing a right winger on the left wing when he could have come off. The dugout thing is annoying. We ground out a win in the end. I mean, we'd have taken 2 wins from today's episode. That's what we've got. And we're very much still in the mix. Poor old Casey Palmer. And that's what the league table looks like as we approach the final stretch of games. We're still very much not in the automatic promotion hunt. I would argue probably neither are West Brom at this point. Leeds and Swansea are almost there. But I also think these 4 are starting to take shape as well. So what we're going to do is probably go all the way through to maybe West Brom, maybe Cardiff, show the last couple of games of the regular season. And then fingers crossed, we're going to have some playoffs after that. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.